Have you ever thought about where your plastic bags go? Think about it. We use them for almost everything. We carry our groceries in them, we put our sandwiches in them, we get them from so many stores. Plastic is everywhere, and that has become a very big problem for our planet, our home. Most of this plastic is used only one time and then thrown away. It doesn't just disappear, it stays around for a very, very long time. Hundreds of years, in fact. This plastic waste fills up our landfills, which are giant piles of trash. And it doesn't just stay on land. It blows into our rivers and washes into our oceans, creating a world of trouble for the animals that live there. The numbers are just staggering. Consider this: every single year, the world produces over 380 million tons of plastic. That's about the same weight as all the people on Earth combined. And out of all that plastic, a huge amount is single-use, like the plastic shopping bags we see every day. Globally, we use about 5 trillion plastic bags a year. If you tied all of those bags together, they could circle the Earth 7 times every hour. It's an enormous amount of waste, and sadly, our systems for dealing with it just can't keep up with how much we make and throw away. A very small part of this plastic gets recycled. How small? Well, less than 10% of all the plastic ever made has been recycled. That means more than 90% of it is still out there somewhere. A lot of it ends up in the environment. Scientists estimate that about 8 million tons of plastic trash flow into our oceans every year. That's like dumping one garbage truck full of plastic into the ocean every single minute. This plastic harms sea turtles, birds and whales who mistake it for food. It's a serious issue that affects the health of our entire planet, and we need smart, new ideas to help us clean it up. So what can we do? We can't just wish the problem away. We need science, we need innovation. We need people to look at this mountain of plastic trash and not see a problem, but an opportunity. An opportunity to create something new, something useful, something that can help both our communities and the environment at the same time. The challenge is huge, but human creativity is even bigger. And sometimes the most brilliant solutions come from looking at old problems in a completely new way. We need to turn this plastic problem into a plastic solution. Now, this is the exciting part. What if we could take all that unwanted plastic and use it to build something we all need? Something like roads. That's exactly the idea that a brilliant PhD student had. This student, working with a team of researchers, looked at the plastic bag problem and saw a resource just waiting to be used. They asked a simple but powerful question. Can we mix this plastic waste into the material we use to pave our streets? It's an idea that could change everything about how we think about both trash and construction. Science is all about asking those what-if questions. The discovery came from a university laboratory where big ideas are born. The student focused on a specific kind of plastic called polyethylene. This is the stuff most of our shopping bags, plastic wrap and milk bottles are made from. It's one of the most common types of plastic waste in the world. The team started to experiment. They took old used plastic bags and other similar plastics and shredded them into tiny little pieces. Their goal was to see if these plastic bits could be mixed with bitumen, the black, sticky stuff that holds the rocks and sand together in asphalt to make our roads. It wasn't just a random guess, there was real science behind it. The team knew that certain plastics, when heated, could melt and blend with other materials. They carefully tested different amounts of plastic, mixing it into the hot bitumen like you would mix ingredients for a cake. They wanted to find the perfect recipe, a recipe that would not only get rid of plastic waste, but would also make the roads even better than before. It took many tries and a lot of careful measurements, but they found a way to make it work. Their experiments showed that this wasn't just possible, it was practical. This kind of thinking is what science is all about. It's about observing a problem in the world and using curiosity and experimentation to find a solution. It's not about magic, it's about a process of trial and error. This student and their team didn't just see a pile of trash, they saw raw materials. They saw the building blocks for a stronger, more sustainable future, one road at a time. Their work shows us that with a little bit of ingenuity, we can transform things we throw away into things that build up our world. It's a fantastic example of turning a negative into a positive. So, how exactly do you turn a flimsy plastic bag into a tough, durable road? The process is surprisingly straightforward. First, you gather the right kind of plastic waste. We're talking about things like grocery bags, plastic film, and empty milk jugs. Plastics that are often hard to recycle in other ways. These items are cleaned and then put into a large shredder, which chops them up into very small, confetti-like flakes. This step is important because it increases the surface area of the plastic, allowing it to melt and mix more evenly with the other road-making materials. It's all about preparation. Next comes the mixing part. In a traditional asphalt plant, gravel, sand, and other aggregates are heated to a very high temperature. Then a hot liquid binder called bitumen is added to coat all the particles and glue them together. In this new, greener process, the shredded plastic flakes are added to the hot bitumen. The plastic melts and becomes part of the binder itself. It creates a new super binder, a polymer-modified bitumen. This enhanced mixture is then used to coat the hot aggregates just like before. The result is a new kind of asphalt, infused with the strength of recycled plastic. The cool thing is why this works so well. The melted plastic makes the bitumen binder stronger and more flexible. Think of it like adding rubber to something to make it tougher. This plastic-infused asphalt is less likely to crack in the cold winter, and less likely to get soft and form ruts in the hot summer. The plastic helps the road resist damage from heavy trucks and changing weather. The roads can handle more stress and last longer. So not only are we finding a home for plastic waste, but we are also getting a superior product in the end. That's what we call a win-win situation. This process doesn't require building brand new expensive factories. It can be done using the same equipment that road crews already use to make regular asphalt. They just need to add a step for incorporating the shredded plastic into the mix. This makes the idea much more practical and affordable for cities and towns around the world to adopt. By simply tweaking the recipe for our roads, we can start to tackle the massive problem of plastic pollution, while also improving the infrastructure we rely on every single day. It's a simple change that could have a massive impact. The advantages of this innovation are huge for our communities and for our planet. The most obvious benefit is that it gives us a new way to use plastic waste that would otherwise end up in landfills or oceans. For every kilometer of road paved with this new method, we could recycle the equivalent of millions of plastic bags. This directly reduces the amount of plastic pollution in our environment, protecting wildlife and keeping our natural spaces cleaner. It's a powerful way to take responsibility for our waste and put it to good use in a very practical and visible way. On top of the environmental benefits, these roads are simply better. The research shows that roads made with plastic are stronger and can last up to twice as long as traditional roads. This means fewer potholes, fewer cracks, and less money spent on repairs over time. For towns and cities, that means saving taxpayer money that can be used for other important things like schools, parks, and libraries. Longer-lasting roads also mean fewer traffic jams caused by construction crews doing constant repairs. It's an investment that pays off by creating more resilient and reliable infrastructure for everyone. Of course, the idea is still new, and more testing is needed before we see plastic roads everywhere. Scientists need to be sure that the roads are safe in all conditions and that no harmful particles are released over time. These are important questions that need to be answered through careful, long-term studies. But the early results are incredibly promising. Several countries have already started building test sections of these roads to see how they perform in the real world, with real traffic and real weather. The results so far are very exciting and point toward a future where our roads are part of the climate solution. Ultimately, this discovery brings a lot of hope. It shows us that science and engineering can can provide creative solutions to our world's biggest challenges, it proves that we can rethink waste and turn it into a valuable resource. Imagine a future where every new road built is also a victory for the environment. A place where our plastic trash is stored safely and usefully beneath our feet. This one bright idea, born in a university lab, could help us pave a smoother, stronger, and much cleaner path for generations to come. And that is a future worth getting excited about. Change the world.